This is majorly awkward. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your host, Johnny Hellcat, today. And with me today is traveling exhibit, Travis Gardner.
Howdy.
Sanguine's going to be jumping in a little bit later. So, how are you doing?
Well, it's hot here. About, I think it got up to about 108.
Gross.
Yeah, very. I had somebody that decided to not clean out their freezer.
Oh, yeah.
When it died.
I don't miss that part of the appliance sales area, especially when people decide that, keeping food in airtight, lukewarm containers is a good idea. It's actually quite gross.
I've never understood that, because I've had so many times I've been out to somebody's house that their refrigerator or freezer died, but they'd never take anything out of it. It's like, oh, it's still cooling a little bit. And I'm like, 60 degrees isn't cold for a refrigerator.
When your ice tray is water, that's not cold.
And then, but this one was horrible. I opened it up and I'm like, oh God, what the hell's wrong with y'all?
There was one that they brought in, and they're like, yeah, just open that to make sure that that it's clean. We opened it up, and there was already black mold in there. So each of us, I swear, shut.
Oh, those are the worst. The mold, and you get that weird fridge goo that builds up in them.
Yeah, that's never a fun thing. Black mold was in there, and me and the other appliance guy opened the door. Both of us just drop like immediately and just start retching. It was not a fun time.
But yeah, that. So I take it that you're watching a show over there that we had to delay the show for.
I wasn't. The family was. They were watching Survivor, and it was at the point where they were voting each other out. So I had to hold for that, so that they can know who got voted out. It was some gal.
And I get the only bright side this week is I get new internet, because my ex decided that I'm no longer going to be using her AT&T account, so I had to switch. It was like, so I get to spend my entire Saturday waiting on AT&T to come out and install fiber.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
So do you have a smart TV, or do you screen share to your TV?
I use a Roku.
Ah.
Yeah. I do have a smart TV, but it's not that smart. For some reason, it no longer supports Hulu or Netflix, so I just put a Roku on it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, mine has the ability to put Netflix in there. I think Netflix and Amazon it can do. But you go to start it, and it's like, app not supported. It's like, then why are you here? Like,
it's like typical Samsung. I mean, my big TV in the living room, it's got a problem with the backlight on it, so the outer edges are much brighter than the inner, and it really gets to me whenever I'm trying to like watch something that's really dark. So, but most of the time I'm in here on the on the desktop, just kind of watching whatever.
So, is your region of Oklahoma just as boggy as Camel's?
No, I'm in the I'm one of the dirty flatlanders, as he calls it. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm basically Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So it's basically flat and dry, and I don't have very many real trees. Yeah, I mean, we have trees, but we don't have trees. I mean, we don't have big.
The occasional bush.
Yeah. But
occasional tall bush, that is.
Yeah. We got basically, if you see trees around here, there's probably a creek. I mean, there is just. If you look at pictures from the early days of Oklahoma City, there's no trees in it. All of the trees have been planted by people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically just prairie grass and dirt.
And then they just die.
Yeah. And then everything catches on fire because we planted those damn cedars.
So do you guys have like pines down there, or is it
Yeah, we have pine and cedar, and you really notice them because
the conifer trees?
Yeah. They make big mess, and everybody doesn't. I really you'll occasionally have somebody that tries to plant stuff that requires a lot of water and kind of a temperate climate, and like right now, I looked at our forecast. It's like we're gonna be in 100-degree days until hold on, look at it again. Pull it up. Looks like we're gonna be in 100-degree days until next Thursday, and then I don't know. It just ends on Thursday.
Oh joy!
Let me see.
If it's 100 over there, it's got to be well, at least around that same. Just add humidity over in Camel Land.
Oh yeah, he has the humidity because they do have the trees. Because he's in the part Oklahoma. I mean, you think about it, just like eastern half has trees in almost right up and down 35. We call it the cross timbers, where trees, no trees. I mean, it's so flat that I was like 30 miles away from downtown Oklahoma City. And I could see the Devon Tower. I can see the biggest, tallest building in Oklahoma City, 30 miles away. It's just perfect. So yeah, we're not as boggy as it is down there, but it's just mainly because it's just we don't really have the vegetation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Hamill says, you know, his region's Florida without the coastline.
He is. Yeah, I've been down there during the summer, and he is dead on accurate.
I am totally agree with you. Summer is the worst season.
Especially because I'm having my last electric bill was $350 because there was a couple of days there I just decided that I need to leave the air conditioner on all day.
Yeah. Yeah, we have budget billing, so, but our power usage is like very high.
Doubled.
I'm going to have to do the budget building because I can't take it anymore. I go on there and I see the daily averages and I'm like, oh god, if I turn on the air conditioner just to be comfortable when I get home from work, I'm going to go bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for budget billing, you just need to not be delinquent. And you have to have it over a certain amount of time.
I can probably do one of those.
Well, your bill can't be delinquent. Not necessarily you.
Okay, I can do the bill.
What? Oh. Okay. The one that's covered in caffeine? Yeah. Need to pee on my wallet. Yeah, cat peed on my wallet a while back.
Ew.
I don't think we've cleaned it.
Of all the places to pee.
I've cleaned it, but I don't know if I've done it thoroughly enough. I have to get a new wallet.
I mean,
It's like I take the Lysol wipes. You can clean as much as you want, but oh my goodness. No, she's just mad at everything. Rita is our elder cat. How old Rita? 13.
it makes me miss Chonk.
Oh, is Chonka no longer with us?
Well, I don't have Chonk anymore. Robin
Ah,
took her in the settlement.
gotcha.
It's supposedly my fault the cat's so fat.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, she tells me this story. She'll message me every so often. And it's like she's not feeling well. She's laying around and she's not doing anything. And I'm like, well, have you is she? I'm like, did you? What are you feeding her? Well, I'm only feeding her twice a day, and I'm taking the food up after a while, so she doesn't just sit down and eat all day. And I'm like, yeah, she's probably pissed off because she doesn't get to eat all day.
You just make sure the cat can chase shit.
I could never get that cat to really get energized about playing.
Just a lazy ass cat.
Yeah. I had a 3-legged cat that'd just be all about playing, but she just nope. I did once by taping the no. I taped the laser pointer onto the ceiling fan. And she just waddled in a circle, chasing it.
I never thought about using that. I'll definitely have to try that one of these times. Well,
I have the.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna jump onto the first topic we have.
Okay.
which was brought up to me on Twitter because Sanguine's on his he's done with his game, so he can join us for the middle of this slice of heaven I like to call Reddit. It's a subreddit. I didn't have eggs, and it's got a bunch of alterations to recipes, and then people complaining about how the recipe didn't turn out. Like this one, called Muffins of Death. Hey, Sanguine.
Hello, Arthur.
Not too bad. You joined us just in time.
Fantastic.
I am going into some recipe alterations that people have made and complained about on Reddit.
Oh, I am dreading this now. I'm sorry about the rasping noise. I'm quickly getting some lemon zest for my dinner tonight.
All right. So,
So if that gets too loud, let me know.
as a cook, what would you use cardamom for?
Oh, it's used in a lot of Indian dishes.
Is it like a spice?
Yeah, it's a spice pod. So what you do is you cook with the spice pod in the dish, and then right before you plate it up, you remove the cardamom pods.
Okay.
Also, in certain parts of India, they're chewed kind of like bubblegum. Only they don't have the same chewy texture. They're just used to be a way of getting a bad smell out of their mouth.
Okay. Yeah, this one came from Sally's Baking Recipes. Let's see, it says here, I was wondering if there was a specific kind of cardamom to use. I used a teaspoon of decorticated cardamom by Spicely, which seems like a lot. And immediately after eating one of the muffins, they use cardamom in muffins, which I don't know why.
Oh, because it has a decent flavor. It's, like I said, used in a lot of Indian dishes. It's used in baking. It's used in Mediterranean dishes.
All right, well, let's see. I began to feel an incredible abdominal pain. I haven't gone to the doctor yet. It's been 36 hours and the pain is still there. But I think the cardamom has given me a gallstone. I don't know whether to thank you for helping me identify that I can't eat cardamom or to be sad that I need an operation. The muffin was tasty, though, much like all of your other recipes. I was reading that the cardamom may have interacted with my HIV meds, causing the gallbladder to flare up. I will report back later if I survive. My body would break out into hives after baking your apple cider donuts recipe, but that recipe called for much smaller doses of cardamom, so I don't think much of it. I thought it was a bug bite situation, to be honest. Asterisk, I am writing this to warn others like me who may have a reaction to the cardamom, not to make you feel bad. I'm so grateful to you and your recipes.
Yeah, it has some interesting reactions with certain things.
Oh my goodness. I'd say.
Yeah, here, let me pull up the complete list of... Well, not that complete, but let me pull up a list of side effects and interactions. So... Oh, this is actually a really shit list, because there's actually a fair number that are known. But this one doesn't have the issues cited on that, which is strange. Because there are certain meds that, yeah, you can't take cardamom with.
Well, I'll jump to the next one until you find that list. Let's see here. Comment left on a recipe for chocolate brownies. Let's see here.
Okay, so
Oh, there you are.
some of the things that it can cause is gastrointestinal issues. A good chunk of that will be either diarrhea or gastrointestinitis, which is the swelling of your intestines and stomach. It can also cause hypertension, a rapid heartbeat, and it interacts with blood thinners and a shit ton of drugs that affect the liver, making them have a much more severe interaction and impact on the liver. So if you're on blood thinners, be careful about eating certain foods. Indian foods, like I said, again, contain a fair bit of cardamom.
All right. So the next one I have is a comment left on a recipe for chocolate brownies. Let's see here. I didn't have the chocolate chip, so I used mashed banana instead, and the batter was way too wet.
What?
What
Let's
was
see.
used instead? Say that again. Sorry, I missed it.
I didn't have chocolate chip, so I used mashed banana instead, and the batter was way too wet.
No fucking shit.
I
Okay.
only put
Dumb.
I only put in 2 eggs. However, was very disappointing in the recipe, as it did not work out.
See,
No
what the
shit.
problem
Those are
is-
entirely different things. So, when you're making a substitution, you're trying to substitute as like for like as you possibly could. So, I didn't have chocolate chips. I used bittersweet chocolate instead. Okay, that works. You have chocolate chunks rather than chocolate chips? Yeah, that's an easy swap. You have baker's chocolate. You slice it up into slivers, and you mix that in. It won't turn out quite the same, but it will do a decent turn because you're still effectively like for like.
I just smashed up a bunch of the fun-size bars from Halloween and used that.
Yeah, that won't quite do the right thing, but it will be close enough to do the trick.
Well, it's not banana.
Yeah, it sure as shit is a hell of a lot better than I mashed up banana to replace chocolate. What kind of vegan horse shit are you making?
Well, they did use 2 eggs.
Ah, well, there's the problem. Should have just used one.
Let's
The
see
thing
here.
is that whenever you increase the moisture in a recipe, in one component, you have to decrease the moisture of the recipe in another component. Also, when you're making a substitution, substitute things that are at least in the same fucking zip code.
Let's see here. It was very disappointing in the recipe as it did not work out, and it would just not cook, and I couldn't get the top layer to look like it does in the picture, and now it's burnt.
No shit. What you do. So, if for some ungodly reason you decide you want to make mashed banana cookies, you have 2 choices. You either increase the dry ingredients or you decrease the wet ingredients in order to balance out the amount of moisture that you're pumping in by using mashed fucking banana.
He blames it on his gas stove.
Those evil gas stoves to kill us all.
That person should not be allowed to even look at a kitchen, let alone use one.
Maybe my oven is different than the chef's, as I use gas, but it has gas marks, not temperatures, or broil like most Americans.
Well, yeah, when you are using a gas stove, some of them will have what's called salamander. A salamander is a broiler. It's just a different name for a broiler.
What?
Salamander, it's a broiler. Like in the UK, I think it's the UK, most of the time it's throwing it under the salamander, is what's said, rather than broiling it.
Oh, okay. Well, I work on good proper American appliances.
Yeah.
Well, mostly Korean, but you know.
Good old American products made in Korea and Japan.
Let's see here. French toast with a tortilla and aquafaba and cumin. Cumin, whatever. It's
Cumin.
Coming.
Ha-cha-cha.
Okay, we're not going to discuss that substitution.
Let's see. Well, I'm sure this recipe would have been fantastic, but I think some people are overinflating their reviews. It was edible, sure, but I wouldn't waste my time making it again. I had broachy spelling.
Brioche.
Yeah, they definitely spelled that wrong then.
No,
or the
brioche is B. RIOCHE.
Yeah, they moved the I to by the E.
Oh, okay.
So it's spelled broachy.
Okay.
which made me, like, I was thinking brioche as well. But let's see here. I had no brioche or the other bread, so I substituted tortillas, which did not soak up the egg mixture.
Yeah, no shit. Tortillas aren't... If you want to make something with tortillas that also has that kind of fatty cinnamon sugar taste, what you do is you just get a tortilla, you mix up some cinnamon sugar butter, and you warm the tortilla in a skillet. Once the tortilla is warm, you flip it a couple times, make sure that it's warm on both sides. You spread on some of that butter, you flip it down onto the hot side, spread on more of that butter, flip it over a few times, let it get a little bit of color, almost like it's starting to fry in the butter. And then you pull that out, you cut it up, it'll taste amazing. It'll be this sweet, cinnamony, buttery bit of goodness. You don't try to make... You need an open structure in order to make French toast. You need an open structure that can be saturated with the custard that you're making.
And not leave it in there so it's, like, drenched.
Yeah, what you want is you want really dry bread when you're starting to make it. Then you want it to have a nice open structure, which is why brioche is a fairly good one. It's a fairly open, but still pretty dense and cakey bread, so it works amazing. So it can soak up that mixture. You don't let it sit in there for hours, but you let it sit in there a little bit just so it gets a bit of that soaked up in. Then you throw it in a nice hot pan so that you get that custardy egg mixture to start cooking up on the surface of the bread. And as that's cooking off, it's kind of steaming the bread, moisturizing the bread again, so that you get this nice, soft, pillowy, delicious bread that has that custard cooked onto it. It's fantastic. You can't do that with tortilla. Again, shouldn't be allowed to even look at a kitchen. They'll probably destroy something in that process.
Oh, it gets better. I substituted tortillas, which did not soak up the egg mixture. As I am vegan, I couldn't use eggs, as they recommended. But
so they used aquafaba.
But the aquafaba from a can of garbanzo beans usually works just fine. Not here.
That's a vegan substitute, it is absolute garbage as every vegan substitute is.
It was so soggy and tasted like canned beans.
Yeah.
It's always worked in the past before. Bullshit. They were not
Like I
quite
said,
as...
it's a standard vegan substitute that vegans who forget what food is supposed to taste like will say, oh, it tastes just as good as the original. No. You just don't remember what the original tastes like. Or you're lying.
Or you don't have taste buds.
Yeah.
Wait, here's the thing I have about vegan stuff. Why do you... Okay.
Why are you trying to make it taste just like meat?
Yes, exactly. Because I've had vegetarian foods before, vegetarian dishes before, and I've had vegan dishes before that were strictly vegan that were fine. It's when they try to, like, hey, we're trying to make things taste like animals. And it turns out to be shit.
Yeah, you can make a dish that doesn't have any animal product. It won't fill you up the same way, and it sure as shit won't fill you up for anywhere near as long as its meat equivalent. But you can make really tasty dishes that don't use any meat. Because they aren't trying to act like they're using meat, they just use other things. And they use other things without trying to disguise them. So it's... A lot of people like various vegan curries. Where they don't use chicken, they don't use pork, they don't use beef or lamb. They're just vegetables in a nice curry sauce. And those can taste pretty damn good because the curry sauce is delicious. But, again, you'll be hungrier faster with that than you would if you had a chicken curry.
Let's see here.
And just stop trying to make vegan food taste like real people food and stop eating the food that my food eats.
Accidentally added a shake or two of cumin before realizing it wasn't the nutmeg. Oops. Overall great recipe, but it just wasn't as good as I expected it to be.
Well, of course, because you fucked up every single part of it.
Okay.
That's like saying, well, I wanted to enjoy a Ruth Chris steak, but I didn't have a Ruth Chris near me, and I'm a vegan, so I can't eat beef. So what I did instead was, I took one of my greasiest shits out of the toilet, and I noshed down on that. Ruth Chris steaks, I have no clue why anyone thinks that they're this good. This greasy shit that I just ate is not even a 0 out of 10.
I found the best place to get steaks around here if you're going to make them yourself. There is a Mennonite butcher shop.
Oh yeah,
North of
they
here.
probably have some fantastic cuts.
It is amazing. But I've never seen a meat anything as clean as this place.
Yep.
But, yeah.
For this next recipe, for beef and potato burritos. This one's a relatively short one. Let's see here. I love this recipe, but I made a few changes. Instead of beef, I used sea bass. And instead of potatoes, I used brown rice. And I actually didn't make a burrito, but instead put the fish on top of the rice and served with a mango chutney. Thanks for posting this recipe.
What?
That's just someone having a laugh.
Yeah,
I'm fine
that-
with
that-
one. It doesn't bother me.
That has to be, because it's like, come on.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
just someone taking the piss out of all the other people going, I changed every part of this recipe, and it didn't turn out that great.
It's an anonymous post, so yeah, I would guess that someone... Let's see here. I don't know what this is for. My family thought it was pretty good. I'm giving it 3 stars because I didn't have cream, so I used the 2% milk in the fridge I had. And I didn't add mushrooms because we don't like them. I will make this again using the cream to see what that helps with the sauce coming together a little better next time.
Oh yeah, it absolutely fucking does. Because, okay.
Because it's cream.
You can, yeah, it's thicker. Thicker things make sauces thicken nicer. You can do a rich and creamy sauce with 2% milk. You have to do it a hell of a lot slower so that you don't scald your milk. And it takes a fuck ton longer, not just because you're having to do it at a lower temperature, but it takes a fuck ton longer because you have more water. So it takes longer for more water to evaporate. Because that's how time and evaporation works. It's kind of like how if you're trying to make homemade chocolates, where you're trying to do a homemade milk chocolate, you need to get whole milk. Now, I say you need to get whole milk. That's not entirely accurate. Because you can get 2%. It'll take a hell of a lot longer. You can get 1%. It'll take a hell of a lot longer. You can even get skim milk and make it work. It'll just take fucking forever.
Okay, this one's speaking to you personally here, Sanguine. Let's see here. The flavor was good, but mine came out a bit gummy. I am on a grain-free diet, so I substituted tapioca for gluten-free flour. Any thoughts?
That doesn't work. If you want something that could work somewhat like flour, don't go tapioca. Go for potato flour.
Is there a tapioca flour?
There's tapioca starch. I don't think there's tapioca flour, but there's potato flour.
Yeah.
And potato flour can function like flour. It won't be exactly the same, because of course it's not going to be exactly the same. But it's gluten-free, and it is about a 90... I'd say 85 to 90% match.
Because I made gluten-free pancakes for my kid, and I've made substitutions and additions for the recipe I found on allrecipes.com. It's literally just flour, sugar, baking powder, salt. Did I say sugar already?
Yep.
Eggs and milk, and then butter. And instead of the flour, I use the gluten-free flour, and then I just add, whatever xanthan gum to
make it so it binds up a little bit.
Yeah. Although most of the time, the flour I use is 1-to-1, so I don't have to add the xanthan gum.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just add the flour, add the rest of the stuff, mix it. The only difference is I use an extra egg.
Yeah, if you want it, or you want a gluten-free option, then one option is you go for the gluten-free flours. Some of them are 1-to-1, some of them are different. Look at the one that you have. Some of them you need to add xanthan, some of them you don't. Look at it. It should tell you. Another option is you use potato flour. Potato flour works fairly good as a flour substitute. It's not 100%. It works fairly good. Another option, you can't use wheat flour. Okay, go for white rice flour.
I could not agree more, Frosted.
What did they
Just,
say?
by the way, recipe websites, put the damn recipe at the top of the page. I don't need to read the dish's life story before making it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, this jump to recipe shit just needs it. Just put it at the top. If I want to know the story, put it at the bottom.
Yep.
Let's see. This was a great bread. I made some changes to it, however. I used less sugar and added some honey, which I can see. Replaced the butter with coconut oil. Added a couple of bananas so that added a couple of bananas that I had were old and used whole wheat flour. So I guess I made a different bread, but still, if it wasn't for the recipe,
Entirely different bread.
yeah.
Some of those you could get by without making it an entirely different bread. All of them in combo, yeah, you made a different bread. You aren't commenting about this recipe now, you're commenting about an entirely different recipe. If it was one or two of those, like this recipe is fantastic, but I made it with whole grain flour, okay. These are the things that I did in order to fix it. Fantastic. I used half the sugar, and I used honey, and then I adjusted the fluids accordingly. Yep, that works. Doing that, the flour change, adding in additional things, yeah, you've made an entirely fucking different bread. Why the fuck did you call it?
Let's see. Let's see here. Love this with my shrimp tacos. I used mayo and sour cream rather than yogurt, and used purple cabbage rather than bagged slob blend. I modified it a... What?
That's so far so good.
Let's see. I modified it a little bit by adding shredded carrots, a little bit of Syracuse sauce.
Sriracha.
Is that how it's spelled?
It's
Syracuse?
spelled kind of fucked up. It is spelled Sriracha.
Yeah, that's not how it's spelled.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
Syracuse. Siracusa.
Oh, I think they're trying to spell sriracha. They just are illiterate.
It's the rooster sauce. That's all I know.
Oh, rooster sauce? That is sriracha.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I tried to look it up, and it brings up Syracuse. So I'm pretty sure that they meant sriracha. I cooked up some shrimp with garlic butter, put them on a warm soft tortilla, and topped with a slaw. That's not really much of a taco.
Yeah. They completely fucked it up. The more that they went on, again, they're entirely changing the recipe when saying that they made a couple edits. A couple edits are at the beginning when they said, rather than using yogurt, I used mayo and sour cream.
It doesn't sound terrible, though.
Yeah, if you do mayo and sour cream as a substitute for yogurt, depending on what you're doing with it, don't mix it. Don't go, well, I don't have any yogurt in my refrigerator. I wanted to have some for breakfast. So instead I mix sour cream and mayo. No, fuck you. That's wrong. But if you're trying to do a slaw, and you have the choice of a yogurt-based slaw, which some slaws are, you can also do a mayo-based slaw, And if you're trying to do a mayo-based slaw that tastes more like a yogurt-based slaw, a bit of sour cream. It'll tang it up.
Rather than yogurt, I used a live mongoose. Is that bad?
The joke ones, fantastic.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
No, that was frosted.
Ah, okay.
I do gotta say, out of the one so far, that is the least fucked up one.
Let's see here. I made mug cakes. I don't have measuring spoons or vegetable oil, so I used olive oil and eyeballed the amounts. I also used Milo.
It's think like Nestle chocolate milk powder.
The taste is a bit odd, but the texture is good. Microwave for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a chocolate milk powder that is popular in Asia and Australia, if I remember correctly.
Let's see. Sadly, this cake turned out Sadly, this cake turned out rather dry and heavy for me. It could be that when I added the juice of one of the orange and the non-chocolate part, my mixture was too wet, so I added flour. Hence, I was rather disappointed with the result.
Okay, so they probably added too much flour to balance out their wet. Because like I said, anytime that you increase the amount of wet, you have two choices. You can decrease the wet somewhere else, or you can increase the dry. If you overbalance the dry, then you have to add more wet. Eventually, if you're getting it closer and closer and closer every time, you're going to end up with the right mixture. If you just keep on fucking it up, you're a fuck up. There's nothing really that I can say. You're fucking up the fixes. What do you want me to say?
I was just reading chat.
This has got to be another one. Cut the water by half. Cut back the water by 1/2 cup, or the batter would have been all over the pan. Cake fell and is dry. We'll eat the cake, but I'm not using this recipe again.
That should be a joke one, but I'm not sure.
I am in the middle with that one.
There's enough dumb people that it might not be a joke one.
There's one that Narwhal found, because she's the one that stumbled upon it and told me about it. Because I'm like, this must be something that is to be shared. But,
So what are you plaguing me with next?
no, we left it. I couldn't find anything that was good.
Okay.
Mainly it was just like, I made slight alterations and made something completely different, so it could be something that more than likely is alternate.
Yeah, you can alter a recipe to a certain point and it still be the same recipe. But you can't just change every ingredient and say, yeah, I'm making the same thing, only every ingredient's different. No. That's not how words work.
I made minestrone, but instead of tomato juice, I made tomato sauce. Replaced the noodles with spaghetti, and added some hamburger in there, and took out the vegetables. So I had spaghetti.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Though this is the problem that I keep seeing in a lot of things, where people think that you can change every component of something and end up with the same thing. No. When you start changing key components of something, you've changed that thing. It annoys the shit out of me how often people will go, oh yeah, we can just change how the economy works in an area, and we'll still have the same economy. No, you change the economy. If you're changing all the things that are used in order to make something, you change all the laws surrounding the economy, you're not going to end up with the same economy as you had before you started fucking with shit. If you're looking at a situation where we've reduced crime, and then you start going, well, okay, yeah, we've reduced crime, but what if we stop doing all the things that we did to reduce crime? That won't increase crime. No, you're changing everything. What the fuck do you mean it'll be the same? Stop this. Stop this goddamn madness. When you change everything, you've changed the end result.
Yeah.
But you see this in cooking, you see this in politics, you see this in fucking everything.
I've worked with technicians that will change every part on something because they can't figure out something really basic.
Yep. And by the end of it, they didn't fix a refrigerator. They made a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. I've actually had people that have went and was like, okay, Travis, I need help. Well, what? I keep getting an error, motor error on this Samsung washing machine. Because of course Samsung, but it's like, okay, what'd you do? Well, I changed out the motor, and then I changed out the motor control unit, and it kept doing it. So I changed out the motor control unit again, and it kept doing it. Then change out the motor again, and it did it again. So I changed out the control board. It did it again. Like, okay, why did you check? Well, I checked all those things because I changed out brand new stuff. Well, did you look at the stuff that's connecting all of those?
Mm-hmm.
The wiring harness? Yeah, it didn't look bad. Did you test it? Oh no, you really want me to go and do a continuity test to get repeated on that wiring harness? I do now, motherfucker.
I trust the Koreans.
I trust certain part of the group known as Koreans. Which one are we talking, north or south? South I'll trust a fair bit.
I don't know. I may have gotten a little bit more in depth on my Korean differentiating. It's no longer north or south. It's either Samsung or LG Koreans.
Well, I use I remember when he's just like, yeah, I like these LGs because they're made in America, and I'm like, actually they're manufactured in Korea. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh really? I'm like, I go, don't worry, there are Koreans. And I was hoping that he would get the line.
Mm-hmm.
He did not.
Done.
Because that's probably my favorite Korean line in the Canadian bacon. It's like, oh, we like the South Koreans. Those are our Koreans.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. I've had so many people just blank out on me when it's like, oh, where does well, and he was like, Whirlpool doesn't make anything in this country anymore. Everything Whirlpool's Chinese. And I'm looking at the Made in America sticker on this brand new Whirlpool product, and I'm like, yeah, it's not like it really means much, but this is American.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Whirlpool, GE, and I think Amana. that
The
are.
crazy thing.
I think they're all American made because I think Amana's a GE thing is also, isn't it?
It's Whirlpool.
Is it Whirlpool?
Yeah, it's Whirlpool. Yeah.
That was one of the two.
Amana's got a weird background because it started like Amana was its own company as Amana Refrigeration, started by the Amana religious commune, and then it was purchased by Raytheon and was ran by Raytheon from the 50s all the way up until the 90s, and then Maytag bought them, and then Whirlpool bought Maytag, and then everything went to shit.
Yeah, Maytag used to be good.
Hmm? But Amana Appliances used to be ran by a cult.
Okay.
And then it was ran by a defense contractor.
I think it's funny when customers are like, "Yeah, this was made in China." It's like, no, it's not. It's made in like Lexington, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It says so on the sticker there, man. I mean, it's got Chinese quality now, but I mean, it's American.
I wish that products were still made to be quality products rather than to be just instantly replaced products.
Oh, like my, you know, there's a few of them out there like Speed Queen washing machines, but it's like, yeah, Speed Queen, they have a 10-year warranty on everything. They're like, well, no, you mean like the tub? Like, no, everything. Their electronics is guaranteed for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because there's like, I think the Maytag has a 10-year warranty, but it's on the drum.
The part that never fails.
Yeah.
I'd be impressed if someone broke the drum.
I have seen it. Oh my! I got, as soon as I can find them, I will send you pictures of the exploding LG washing machines.
Okay.
They had a recall on their top load washing machines because the inner tub would fail so badly and spin that they would just spin out of control inside there and just tear them all to pieces.
You know that video of the guy who's got it going at that spin cycle, and then they throw the rock in there.
Yep.
That.
Yeah, but that's something that you're going, okay, yeah, that's going to be destructive.
Well, these are machines that just in normal use. Okay, I'm sending it. Can we just paste it? Paste. Okay. I put it to Hellcats on Discord.
All right, I will share it over here.
If I can. Where is it? Here. And it's not even like the worst I've seen.
That's moderately warped.
But they just basically just will tear themselves to pieces. Because that tub just goes out of balance at the wrong time.
Yeah, most people
So
hate.
do it again because I had clicked over to something else.
For what?
Run the video again?
Oh, it's not a video.
Or is it just a picture?
Just a picture.
Ah, okay. That is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, I don't want a front load because it gets mildewy. Yeah, water tends to do that.
Yep.
If you clean it out, you might not have that problem.
Here's a good one. It's on Reddit. You don't say that very often, do you?
Alright, get rid of that. Yahoo! Look at that bad boy.
But these happen, like, I've seen these happen when it's just normal clothes inside them. They just have a massive drum failure. But I've never seen it on other machines. Just LG and Samsung's.
Is that the one with the drop-down door? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I think it's just a standard one, just a basic door.
Because they had the LG one with the dual opening door that people absolutely loved.
Yeah.
That is fucked looking.
Yeah.
And that's why Travis doesn't like doing factory warranty.
But yeah, I wish that shit was built to last. And the people going, well, we need to worry about the environment. No, build shit to last. That's how you make things that are actually viable if you worry about the environment. Because if you build something that just falls apart after a period of time, someone's going to have to make it again. Whereas if you build a house so that the house will stand there for the next 150 years, there's no additional work when it comes to that. The house is built. If you build a house that falls apart after 5 years, you have to build a new house that falls apart after 5 years. So you have to build a new house that falls apart after 5 years. So you have to build a new house that falls apart after 5 years. Build it so it lasts. It'll be better for the environment, and it will make people happier.
Yeah, like, just where, oh,
They definitely don't make them like they used to anymore.
I like this. This is what I was telling you about. This is like the favorite washing machine. It's where we've gone. We've turned in to have refrigerators.
There's a channel on YouTube that I just recently found. That's pretty cool. It's a dude who just does videos on his old appliances. And he has a, I want to say it was 1940s refrigerator. And the features on that fucking thing are amazing. So, you know how shitty all of our shelves are in our refrigerators? His refrigerator shelves were all aluminum Lazy Susans. So, when he needed to grab something from a shelf, it wasn't him digging through the entire fucking refrigerator to find it. It was him just turning a Lazy Susan to grab what was in the very back or what was in the side in an awkward position. Just turn it, grab it, go.
Well, KitchenAid tried coming back out with those, but
they should have never gone out of style.
I basically came to the conclusion: you stick it inside a refrigerator, somebody's going to figure out some way to break it.
Say again?
If you put it inside of if you build it into a refrigerator, somebody will figure out how to break it.
Yeah, and then that person should be recognized as a fucking idiot, and people should point and laugh. And you should be allowed to make money off of them.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I can't point and laugh because, customer service and all, but...
And I'm going to call bullshit on that. Anytime that something really fucked up happens while you're at the job, you come here and you tell us about the fucked up thing that happened at your job.
Okay, well, you see, I don't point and laugh at the customer, though. I can't... They won't let me do that anymore.
You don't do it to their face. You still do it to them. It's just... You do it online. Rather than in person.
I got it. My boss laughed at me the other day because of my notes. I put the acronym RTFM in there.
Mm-hmm.
Read the fucking manual.
Yep. There's so many times that is the solution.
Now, of course, I told the customer it meant read the factory manual.
Yep.
Because I went out there because they had the child lock on their washing machine, their dishwasher. So they don't know what the little lock symbol means. I hold down the child lock button and it goes off and it runs, and she's like, "Oh, are you still going to charge me for this?" Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be like the easiest $119 to make today. I mean, unless they're really, really old or otherwise, sometimes...
Are you still going to charge me for this? Did you make me come out here to do it for you?
Oh, it really, like I said, depends. There's sometimes I will put down as like, they call driveway cancellation when the customer supposedly greeted you at the door and says, "Oh, we don't need you anymore," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yep.
I'll put it down as that, where I don't have to charge them if I don't really feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And my boss gives us the ability to use what we call freebies on some customers. Like if they're like a really good customer of ours, then we're like, "Oh, we're doing this for free."
Yeah, if there's someone that seems to be having a real hard time of things, or they're goddamn ancient or something like that, take it easy on them. But like I said, otherwise it becomes a, did you make me come out here for it? Well, yes, so why wouldn't I make you pay?
Say, under normal circumstances, I'm going to charge you X amount.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you better have something broken.
Yeah. Anytime that I come out, this is the bare minimum that you're going to be charged for this.
Yeah.
So, you can call me out, and I'll come out and I'll do the job. Doesn't matter how hard or how simple it is, I'll do the job and then you'll pay me. And if you don't want me to come out, well, you have choices. You can see if it's something that you can fix, and if so, okay. If you feel comfortable, by all means. If you don't, then I come out and you pay me.
And that's exactly how it works. If I come out, I mean, they know up front when it's listed, when they get the email that says there is a $119 base fee.
Yep.
That is the diagnostic fee. If I come out, I tell you what's wrong with it, how much it's going to cost to fix. If you decide not to, you pay me the money.
Yep. My time is money. So you took my time, I take your money.
But there's of course sometimes you just kind of like you will you'll cut a deal, or you'll figure out some way to get out of it if you really don't want. But then there's some customers that are just so pissy about it. You're like, I wish I could charge you more. But I agreed
Yeah.
on this.
There should be an asshole tax. There should be an asshole tax. You should have to justify your asshole tax charge.
Just go to their kitchen. Just go to their refrigerator and take something. There's your asshole
Nice.
tax.
But yeah, it should be that if someone you know that they're having a really hard time, yeah, you might decide to waive it if it's something simple. If you know that they're just going through a divorce or some shit, and they have something that's that easy that needs fixing, and they aren't a cunt to you, they don't cause any problems, then yeah, waive it. If they're ancient, sure, waive it. If they're obnoxious at all, no, fuck you. If it's just that they were lazy, no, fuck you.
Yeah, that's no. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually starting to fade pretty hard, so we're gonna call it. Let's
enough.
go with some parting thoughts. Travis?
I really had something for this earlier. Think of write your parting thoughts down. There's a parting thought.
And Sanguine?
Literally.
If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
And I'll go with the one. I don't like pain. It hurts me.
Hmm?
Because it does. And with that, the zoo's closed.
But what about when the pain hurts so good? And have a good night, all.
Good night.
Well, you're not John Cougar Mellencamp, so take it easy.
But sometimes love don't feel like it should.
Well, it does hurt so good.